Today we are going to check out the technology behind the PARCC for the 2015-2016 school year. Let's start out by looking at the grades 3 to 5 ELA item set. So what PARCC gives us is sample items that we'll be seeing on the assessment. What we are going to focus on during this video is the technology behind it and the skills you need to have in order to complete this test. So as we click start, let's go to the section. First, let's look up top. We have our cursor right up here, the pointer, and the answer eliminator. As you read through the passage, you'll get to the questions. So let's say part A. What is the meaning of the word master as it is used in paragraphs 5 and 6? So you would scroll down on the left-hand side and read, sentences 5 and 6 again to, see what master would mean. And let's say if you know for a fact it's not answer C, you can use the answer eliminator up top in your toolbar to cross it off. Now remember, if you think it may be C, you can always click it again and the X will come away. Always go back to your pointer so you can select the question and go to the answer and choose your answer. So they're multi-step problems, so part A and part B. Let's click the arrow to move on. Okay. Next is drag and drop. So you're dragging and dropping 3 details from the story. So over here, we choose our 3 details. As you see, we get a crosshair that comes up here. So let's drag and drop in 3. Now remember, you must count that there are 3 that you need to drop in. Let's go to the next question. Now, let's say you're not too sure about this question and you want to go back to it. Let's bookmark it. So let's bookmark it for review and we can go back to it at the end if we want. So we'll check that out at the end of all the questions. Let's go next. Once again, we answer the question, so we just use our pointer and we can select B, and let's say we go read A, B, and we select C. Next on it, multiple choice. So much of the ELA, we have basic multiple choice, where we have circle selected answers, and we can only choose one. We can only choose one answer here. We have another drag and drop. So drag 3 sentences, and you actually have it here. Sentence 1, sentence 2, and sentence 3. If you make a mistake, you can easily just drag it back and take another one and drag it down to where you want it to be. Question 7 deals with toggling between 2 stories. So what we are going to do here is just go back and forth like we're on the internet, going between 2 tabs. So right now I'm on Cricket and Cougar, and when I want to switch over, I just click on Kira Kira, and I'm at Kira Kira. I can easily switch back and forth at any time. Now also, we need to learn our basic formatting so that we can type in this box. For example, if I say the passage is to the left of this box, okay, we can highlight a word, make it bold, uncheck it to make it bold, not bold, italics, underline, all the things you have learned over the years on how to format your text. You can also make a bulleted list if you want. So 1, 2, 3, or you also have the option to make a numbered list. So 1, 2, 3. We have the undo button, so if you mess up, you can keep on undoing and go back to what you previously wrote. Pretty neat on that, huh? Or we have a redo. Now that could very much benefit us. Sometimes we write an answer, then we think that we did something wrong, but then as we're thinking about it, we had it right all along. So you can just undo and go back to your original answer that you wrote out. Let's go to number 8. Once again, we can use the answer eliminator to cross off anything that we want, uncheck it, but we always must go back to the pointer. Question 9, drag and drop. And as you see that, if instead of dragging it back, we can just click the X over here to get our details back. Let's go next to question 10, multiple choice again. The most important part is to read the questions and read the directions. So let me select a B and an A. Oh, wow! Check this out. In part A, it says, what is the purpose of the braces described in paragraph 6? Here's a quick trick. See how the answers are circles? That's a hint that it tells you that you can only select one answer. Part B, it says, which 2 details from the article help support the answer to part A? And see how in part B, they're squares? That tells you right away you can select more than one answer. And also, how do we know this if we couldn't recognize it by the squares and circles? The directions let us know. So that's the biggest part about this PARCC assessment. Read the directions. And finally, we have a bunch here. We're looking at an article, selecting our sentences. Now look, as I hover my mouse over the sentences, you can tell what sentence I'm going to grab. See how it darkens gray a little bit? And if I click on it, it'll blow up and it will show me a little insight on what I'm choosing. So let's say if I pull that there, and you have the same scenario. So remember, circles is multiple choice. And the directions don't ask me for more than one answer. So let me just select one. And let's put supporting details there. Finally, we can go to next. And it tells me right away, I reached the end of the test. This is very new this year with PARCC. It lets me know that there's 3 I didn't answer and 1 I bookmarked. Use the review button to go back and review your answers. When you're done, use the submit final answers. So right here too, it also lets me know which ones are non-answered. And that's great because it recognizes that I forgot a couple of these questions. Once I choose my answer, I can go back to review and go to all the questions I want to make sure I answered. Now, some of this is hard because look, I have to drag it down. Oops, that's not a main idea. So you have to read the directions too. These are the main ideas, and these are the supporting details. Main ideas, supporting details. Review again, and we go back to the page that we had bookmarked. We can unbookmark it because we know we're back to this and we have time to answer it again. Finally, let's go review. We have all 11 questions, 0 are not answered, and 0 are bookmarks. So let's click End of Section, and we're ready. we're done and we're ready to submit. So when you're finished, if your teacher lets you go on and submit your final answers, please choose that. So I will hit submit final answers and it will give me a warning and I can hit submit again. So that's the technology behind the ELA for the PARCC in the 2015-2016 school year. Good luck and make sure you remember the most important part. Read the directions.